Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Armed Dragon Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for February 2020. Wanted to do an Armed Dragon pure deck profile for a good while now. I know I've done the Ojama Armed Dragon XYZ deck in the past, and I am planning on updating that deck as well, but I figured I would do an Armed Dragon pure deck just to show what you can do to work with a deck that uses all the different Armed Dragon level monsters from level 3 all the way to level 10. If you're a fan of Chaz from GX, definitely a deck for you. It's one of the main ones he used before the Ojamas, and mix them in with the Ojama deck at the time as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for our Armed Dragon monsters, I run 3 Armed Dragon level 3. During your standby phase, you can send this card to your graveyard to special summon 1 Armed Dragon level 5 from your hand or deck. So the main way to get the Armed Dragons is to either use the Armed Dragon effects on themselves or use the level up support we have as well in the deck. So with Armed Dragon level 3, just as long as you have it on your field during the standby, so you can even call the Haunted It, or just back to the front to special summon it onto the field at the end of your opponent's turn. Then during your standby phase, you'll get the Armed Dragon level 5. And it can be from the hand or deck, so very, very useful for the consistency of this card to have both options for getting this card to level up to its level 5 version, which is, as we already spoke, Armed Dragon level 5. You can send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to the sent monster's attack. Destroy that target, and during the end phase of this card destroyed a monster by battle this turn, you can send this card to the graveyard to special summon 1 Armed Dragon level 7 from your hand or deck. So it doesn't special summon the same way as level 3, which is good because if level 3 had to destroy a monster, I'd say is definitely a lot more difficult to get it to transform into Armed Dragon level 5, but still having this as a 2400 attack point monster that's very easy to summon out. It also doesn't have any special summon restrictions either, so if you have multiple other Armed Dragon level 5 in your graveyard, you can special summon them back onto the field, or you can even just tribute summon this card out and then have it be your main way to summon out Armed Dragon level 7, which does have to be special summoned the proper way with the level up technique, while 3 and 5 you can just special summon or just tribute summon or normal summon out onto the field to use. And I also run 3 of the Armed Dragon level 7, since it's the main focus of the deck, along with Armed Dragon level 3 and Armed Dragon level 5. I'm maxing out this card. It cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summoned by Armed Dragon level 5. You can send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard, destroy all monsters your opponent control with attack less than or equal to that sent monster's attack. So with the send, even if you have Armed Dragon level 5 or multiple other Armed Dragon level 7s, you can hit a good number of your opponent's monsters depending on what all they have on the field, since this one can destroy all of those monsters, and it's also got 2800 attack and 1000 defense, so always want to keep this card in attack position as well. But it's also your main key 2 card to go into your big boss monster of the deck, which is your Armed Dragon level 10, which I also just running 2 of this card. The reason I'm not maxing out on the Armed Dragon level 10, since it is one of the more difficult ones to summon out with the deck, since you have to have Armed Dragon level 7 already set up on the field, which needs to be done through the proper means of Armed Dragon level 5 also. But with this one, Armed Dragon level 10, this card cannot be normal summon or set. It cannot be special summon except by tributing 1 Armed Dragon level 7. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. So it has no attack restriction with Armed Dragon level 10. It's just an easy destruction effect of all monsters that are face-up. That's why I'm also running 2. It's a little bit better. I would say the best thing going for Armed Dragon level 10 is the fact that it has 3000 attack and 2000 defense compared to Armed Dragon level 7. But also having to rely on this card after the summon of Armed Dragon level 7 is your big key thing to work around with this card also. But I still like to run 2 of it in the deck, since it is the true boss monster power-wise of this. We definitely do, I would say, need a reprint eventually of this card also. I think Dual Terminal and the original Duelist Pack, Chaz Princeton, were the only times this card was released into the game. It's still a very, very awesome card for the Armed Dragon deck. I think this might be one of the one armed or level decks that has the most different levels that you can transform into for this card. So very, very cool all together. And then for a little more added support for the monsters, I run 3 Mass Dragon. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard by battle, you can special summon 1 dragon monster with an attack of 1500 or less to your side of the field from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So the main focus with this one is to either go into another Mass Dragon and then, end off with Arm Dragon level 3 on your field. So then come standby phase, you can go into your Arm Dragon level 5 from Arm Dragon level 3. So just a good card to go into. I thought of Flying Kamakiri, but I honestly like Mass Dragon the best. It just works well with the other dragon support we have in the deck, so very, very useful altogether. And speaking of the backup dragon support, I run 1 Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms. The fact that the armed dragons are wind and also, having Mass Dragon, which is a dragon, means they all work very, very well together to get this monster out onto the field, just for more plays to do. I also run 1 Destrudo if you want to go for a few synchro plays with Armed Dragon level 5 or 3. If you're not going for the special summon that quickly, synchro play can definitely help against your opponent. And 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, just to help with a little more special summoning onto the field as well, can be a big key point also for your cards. And lastly, to finish off the monsters, just for the main deck, 3 Ash Blossom, just still very good hand trap to stop your opponent and all their different plays they could potentially go into. So like maxing this out for the hand trap play in the deck. If you want to try Effect Veiler or anything else, you can give it a shot. I kind of went with this instead of Nibiru just because with this deck and its destruction, having a Nibiru token can be difficult to destroy with some of the other armed dragons, so sticking with the Ash Blossom I think was the best bet. But that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Level Up. You send 1 face-up level monster you control to the graveyard to special summon 1 monster from your hand or deck that is listed on the sent monster's text, ignoring the summoning conditions. So just a quicker way to summon out your armed dragon monsters using this card, since it ignores the summoning conditions, so you can just level up faster to the different forms, and then from there much faster also, especially with armed dragon level 7 being able to get out Armed Dragon level 10, and then rely on that for the battle phase after you destroy all of your opponent's monsters to hit for some bigger damage as well. So the 3 of this definitely does help to quickly level up quicker into the monsters. And then for more special summoning power, I run 3 World Legacy World Legacy Guard Dragon. This one, when this card is activated, you can target 1 level 4 or lower dragon monster in your graveyard, add to your hand, or special summon it. Once per turn, you can target 1 dragon monster you control, move that monster you control to another of your main monster zones. So you're just going to go for the Armed Dragon level 3 to have a special summon target onto the field to reuse monsters. If you already have your big boss monster on the field, being able to special summon another one gives you room for the Destrudo play, along with already having one of your, bigger, higher level Armed Dragon monsters on the field to use. So 3 of this is just an easy monster reborn to the field for other cards. And then I also run 1 the graveyard in the 4th dimension. You add 2 monsters in your graveyard that have level and their card name to your deck and shuffle it. Now if you want to put Pot of Avarice in the spot of this card, you can give it a try. I honestly considered it at the time with the new ban list making this card be replaced with Pot of Avarice, but honestly, just having that many monsters set up in the graveyard for the draw 2 can be a potential spot, but it comes down to the player at that point. You can either run the graveyard in the 4th dimension, or you could try Pot of Avarice. It's completely up to the player at that point. And then for a couple other one-ofs, 1 Foolish Burial, more graveyard setup with cards like Tempest or Destrudo, or if you need to special summon, if you have the World Legacy Guard Dragon in your hand, but you don't have the proper setup for your lower level Armed Dragons, you can always just set it up in the graveyard with Foolish Burial, and then special summon it back using your World Legacy Guard Dragon to special summon the Armed Dragon onto the field. Quickest way to get access to the card. And I also run 1 Sacred Sword of 7 stars. You banish a level 7 monster from your hand or face up from your side of the field to draw 2 cards. You can activate 1 Sacred Sword of 7 stars per turn. Just more draw power altogether with this card if you go through the level 7 play, but have more resources to go through. It definitely does help and come in handy. And 1 Monster Reborn, once just like the World Legacy Guard Dragon, an easy way to special summon your cards in the graveyard back onto the field to use. And also I run 2 Twin Twister. I really do like main decking this card in this deck, just so you have cards or ways to clear out your opponent's back row, because the Armed Dragons help to take care of the monsters on the field, but the back row can really help to get rid of your Armed Dragons, which is the main play of the deck. So you want ways to make sure they're avoided at all times. And I also run 3 Call by the Grave to finish off the basic spell lineup just for, you know, hand traps, Ghost Ogre especially, or Effect Veiler stopping your armed dragons. This card can help to take care of that problem there. And then for the traps, I decided just to stick with the trap lineup for more easy ways to special summon cards back onto the field. So 3 Call of the Haunted, special summoning the Armed Dragons, especially Armed Dragon level 5 back onto the field, and then go for another attack to potentially level up into Armed Dragon level 7 is the main play, like with Call of the Haunted. And then for the 2 back to the fronts, this is for the Armed Dragon level 3, special summon back onto the field, just for the standby phase effect of leveling up into Armed Dragon level 5. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 2 Great Flies, just a great way to power up the Armed Dragons since you need wind monsters to make it. So when you can use them for those resources, especially when I can get Tempest down the field, then have other cards to power up. Putting Armed Dragon level 10 at 3,500 attack definitely can come in handy. And I also run the 1 Win the Wind Charmer Verdant and 1 Hida the Fire Charmer Blaze with Mass Dragon and just all the different Armed Dragons. They come in handy to take my opponent's resources as well. And I also run 1 of the Desperate Doom Eagle, being another win level 3 for while your opponent has no monsters in their graveyard. It's just an added boost card for the wind archetype in the deck. Also 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Topologic Chisbana, 1 Borreload, and then for the Synchros, I'm going with 1 Black Rose Dragon and 1 Dawn Dragster, just with Destrudo. It's the best Synchro play option to go for with the deck. And then for the Exceeds, I run 1 number 11 Big Eye and 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. For the Tempest plays with the Armed Dragon, level 7, if you don't want to go for the monster plays, basically a change of heart play and more tokens to use for Link Power definitely do help. And the 1 Leviair for the level 3 monsters. It's most of the time I just overlay this to get back any banished resource to reuse also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm definitely been working on some other level decks. I've been looking at the Horus deck to see if I can work something together for that. I wanted to start with the Armed Dragons because I got a good amount of requests for the deck, but I know also people have been requesting for a update to the Ojama Armed Dragon XYZ deck. I'm waiting to see if we do confirm get Ojama Emperor with the upcoming Duelist Saga sequel set, so definitely look forward to that. But until then, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.